Hello my dear students of class 11 and 12. Hope you are well by the grace of Allah and you are always sincere in your studies. Dear students, could you guess which topic will be discussed in this video class? I hope you could guess somewhat. What is this? This is punctuation marks. So this virtual video class is on punctuation marks today. My dear students, it is one of your prescribed items in your HSC English. So, as it is included in your syllabus, you should be sincere in this item. There is a arrow indicating signboard, punctuation marks, names of different types of punctuation marks, full stop, comma, colon, semicolon, hyphen, dash, question mark, exclamation mark, slash, backslash, quotation marks, apostrophe, underline, underscore, round brackets, square brackets, ellipsis mark. The students, generally a sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop and makes complete sentence. Full stop shows the end of a statement. Generally, 3 punctuation marks can show at the end of a sentence. These are full stop, question mark, and exclamation mark. What is the purpose of exclamation? Exclamation mark shows raised voice, strong feelings, and exclamation. Now come to the point of the definition of punctuation marks. Punctuation marks is the system of symbols that we use to separate sentences and parts of sentences and to make their meaning clear. Each symbol is called a punctuation mark. Let us see another definition. Punctuation is used to create sense, clarity, and stress in sentences. We use punctuation marks to structure and organize our writing. Punctuation marks is the name for marks used in writing. They are to help understanding and correct reading. The following are some common punctuation marks used in English. Punctuation marks are full stop, or another name of full stop is period, comma, question mark, exclamation mark, apostrophe, quotation mark, colon, semicolon, ellipsis, hyphen, and dash. Dash are 2 types, and dash and am dash. Let us see how these marks function. Full stop. or period. We use a full stop at the end of a sentence. The man arrived, full stop. He sat down, full stop. We use a full stop at the end of an indirect question. The teacher asked why Maria had left out the easy exercises. We use full stop with abbreviations. In an abbreviation, the last letter of the word and of the abbreviation are not the same. CU period or full stop for company. M full stop. P full stop. MP for Member of Parliament. Next punctuation mark, the comma, very important. The comma is used to separate the items in a list, to separate of an introductory chunk or fragments, to separate the direct speech from a reporting clause, to separate of tag phrases and names, to mark off extra information embedded in the sentence. Examples: separating the items in a list. I bought eggs, a pint of milk, tea and sugar. Separating the direct speech from a reporting clause. Separating of tag phrases and names. This is great, isn't it? How old are you, John? Separating of an introductory chunk. Anyway, I decided not to go. 3 weeks later, James was born. Although she was only 3, Jemma knew her tables. Marking of extra information embedded in the sentence. Jill, my boss, is 28 years old. We use a comma between items in a series or in a list. In a sentence, the last 2 items usually do not need a comma between them as they are separated by n. However, if one or both of the last 2 items are long, a comma may be useful. Coffee, tea, sugar, milk, eggs, butter, salt. My favorite sports are football, rugby, swimming, boxing, and golf. We also use a comma between 3 or more adjectives or adverbs. I like the old brown wooden table. He bought an old red open-top Volkswagen. He ran quickly, quietly, and effortlessly. We also use comma for 2 adjectives. Use a comma where you could use and. It was a short, simple film. It was a short and simple film. That is where and is used. We can use comma in place of n. It was a short and simple film. In place of this sentence, we can use it was a short, simple film. Comma is also used for numbers over 999. In English, commas separate thousands and periods separate decimals. Periods mean full stop. Dot. $73,000, 50.75. in writing 2,000,002, 000, 000, 10.5 or 10 and half. We use a comma for addresses, some dates and titles following a name. 911 Avenue Mansion, Pechbori Road, Bangkok, 10400, Thailand. December 16, 1971. We also use a comma before or after direct speech. Do not use a comma for reported speech. The question is, said Alice, whether you can make words mean so many things. We use a comma before coordinating conjunctions. That is for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, to join two independent clauses. If the independent clauses are short and well balanced, a comma is optional. He didn't want to go, but he went anyway. I want to work as an interpreter, so I am studying Russian at university. We use commas for parenthetical elements. A parenthetical element is any part of a sentence that can be removed without changing the real meaning of the sentence. John Gatton, who is chairman of the company, is quite old. Andrew, my wife's brother, cannot come. We also use a comma after an introductory element. A comma is optional for short, simple introductory elements. Rushing to catch the flight, he forgot to take his phone. After a hefty meal cooked by his host's wife, he went to sleep. Comma is also used in the sentence. With adverbs, words like however, unfortunately, surprisingly, that modify a whole sentence, often require one or two commas depending on their position in the sentence. However, Anthony did arrive. We were, unfortunately, too late. He had, not surprisingly, lost his temper. Then, an adverbial clause often needs a comma when it comes at the beginning of a sentence, but not at the end of a sentence. If I win the lottery, I'll buy a castle. I'll buy a castle if I win the lottery. That is in the earlier sentence. After subordinate clause, comma is used, but in the later sentence, as if subordinating conjunction has become the middle conjunction or as joining word, here comma is not needed. Do not use a comma to separate two complete sentences. In this case, the students use a full stop or period or semicolon. Ram wants to go out, full stop. Anthony wants to stay home. Then, colon. Generally, we are very aware about full stop, comma, but we are not so careful using colon. So, my dear student, be sincere in using colon. We use a colon to introduce a list. We can see many things in the sky at night, colon, the moon, comma, stars, planet, comets, planes, and even satellites. Actually, we can use a colon to introduce a single item, especially when we want to emphasize that item. There is one thing that you will not accept, colon, stupidity. The job of the colon is simple, colon, to introduce. The students, we use colon to introduce direct speech or a quotation. John whispered in my ear, colon, have you seen Andrea? As Confucius once wrote, colon, when words lose their meaning, people lose their freedom. We use a colon to introduce an explanation. We had to cancel the party, colon. Too many people were sick. There is no need to rush, colon. The meeting will be starting 1 hour late. Next punctuation mark is semicolon. A semicolon gives a break halfway between comma and full stop. A semicolon is used to separate two main clauses. For example, it was a great pleasure to meet you yesterday, semicolon. I hope we meet again soon. Semicolon is used to separate lengthy items in a list. For example, I surveyed John Street, semicolon, small red brick houses, semicolon, an ancient church, semicolon, three brand new bungalows, and a Victorian townhouse. Gone to see it. We sometimes use a semicolon instead of a full stop or a period. This is to separate sentences that are grammatically independent but that have closely connected meaning. Joseph likes coffee, semicolon, Mary likes tea. The students, we also use a semicolon as a kind of super comma. When we have a list of items, we usually separate the items with commas. If the list is complicated, we may prefer to use semicolons in some cases. Rental cars must be returned on time, semicolon, with a full tank of petrol, semicolon, in undamaged condition, semicolon, and at the same location as they were collected from. Dear students, a semicolon has only two uses basically. First, to connect two independent clauses into a single sentence. For example, I could tell that it was getting late, semicolon, it was growing darker by the second. The second use of semicolon is to separate items in a series when the items contain parenthetical elements within themselves. For example, the following crew members were on the breeze: James T. Kirk, captain of the Enterprise, semicolon, Mr. Spock, first science officer, semicolon, Mr. Solo. And then hyphen. Dear students, we use a hyphen to join words to show that their meaning is linked in some way. Bookcase, race horse, book hyphen case, race hyphen horse, or bookcase or racehorse. We also use a hyphen to make compound modifiers before nouns. A blue-eyed body, but the boy was blue-eyed. The well-known actor, but the actor is well-known. We also use a hyphen with certain prefixes. The prefixes all, ex, and self usually needed a hyphen. All hyphen inclusive, self hyphen control. We also use a hyphen when writing numbers 21 to 99 and fractions 20 hyphen 1, 160 hyphen 5. The student use a hyphen to show that a word has been broken at the end of a line. Hyphenation. The directors requested that a more convenient time be arranged. Hyphen-ient. Use a hyphen with suspended compounds. When we use several very similar compounds together, it may not be necessary to repeat the last part of the compound. They need to employ more full and part-time staff. Not they need to employ more full-time and part-time staff. More full and part-time staff enough. Then dash. This is also one of the important punctuation marks. Do not confuse a dash with a hyphen, which is shorter. Hyphen is shorter than dash. We use a dash to show a pause or break in meaning in the middle of a sentence. My brothers dash Richard and John dash are visiting Hanoi. Use a dash to show an afterthought. I attached the photo to my email dash at least. I hope I did. Use a dash like a colon to introduce a list. Do not forget to buy some food dash eggs, bread, tuna and cheese. Use a dash to show that letters or words are missing. I look dash the children typically use in missing word questions. When to use dashes? Dashes are used to separate two words into statements. It should be noted that dashes are almost never required by the rules of grammar and punctuation. There are two kinds of dashes, the N dash and the M dash. M dash means long dash and N dash is shorter than M dash. The N dash is a symbol that is slightly wider than a hyphen. The M dash is twice as long as the N dash. The N dash often shows range or connections. On the other hand, the M dash is usually used in places where a comma could also be used. The dash can also be used to mark off words or statements that are not important to the meaning of the statement. The dash can also be used in places where a comma would be typically used. N dash. These events took place between 1990 and 1997 along the Paris and London route. M dash. Only one solution was left. Revenge. So this one is N dash and this one is M dash. N dash is shorter than M dash and M dash is longer than N dash. When to use N dash with examples. End dash is slightly wider than the hyphen but narrower than the em dash. Examples. The end dash expresses a period of time. He lived in this town from 1998 to 2009. Here end dash express or replaces to, stands for to. The end dash is used to indicate a range of number. You could choose two numbers from 1 to 50 to express the phrase or expression 1 to 50. Here in place of 2 we are using end dash. This way other sentences. The end dash is used with scores. The red team won 3-1 in this match. The score, the game at the moment is 1-2. The end dash is used to indicate distance. Europe to USA is a long flight. When to use em dash? The em dash or long dash is different from end dash and hyphen. Twice as long as end dash, the long dash can be used in place of a comma, parenthesis or colon to enhance readability or emphasize the conclusion of a sentence. The em dash is used to show a break in a sentence. We could not wait to meet them. Em dash, we had missed them so much. The em dash is used for marking of unimportant words. To get to New York from here, em dash, you are heading there night, em dash, you need a car or a train. The students, the long dash is used to create emphasis. I need to go to the supermarket to buy 3 things. Here em dash or long dash is used. Toothpaste, shampoo and soap. Likewise, other examples given below. The em dash also indicates a sudden change of thought in a sentence. I had a great vacation in Bali. Em dash, oh, is that your dog? It's so cute. Em dash versus en dash. It's an important chart, dear students. The description given earlier about em dash and en dash. It's somewhat summary. En dash expresses a period of time. He lived in this town from 1998 to 2009. En dash indicate a range of numbers. You could choose 2 numbers from 1 to 50. En dash is also used with scores. The red team won 3-1 in this match. Indicates distance. Europe to USA is a long flight. Em dash, show a break in a sentence. Please call my supervisor. John, week on Friday. Marking of unimportant words. To get to New York from here. Em dash, you are heading there, right? Em dash, you need a car or a train. Create emphasis. My mom loves fish, em dash. My dad loves beef. Indicate a sudden change of thought. I had a great vacation in Bali, em dash. Oh, is that your dog? So cute. Then question mark. Important ending punctuation mark. we use a question mark at the end of all direct questions. What is your name? Do you send euro or dollars? Use a question mark after a tag question. You are friends, aren't you? Snow isn't green, isn't it? Don't forget to use a question mark at the end of a sentence that really is a direct question. How else would I get there? After all, who knows when I'll die? He asked rhetorically. Question marks is also used in every informal writings, personal letter, email. People sometimes use a question mark to turn a statement into a question. See you at 9 p.m. Do not use a question mark after an indirect or reported speech. The teacher asked them what their names were. What are your names? In bracket, direct speech is given, but out of the bracket, it's indirect. Many polite requests or instructions are made in the form of a question, but because they are not really questions, they do not take a question mark. Could you please send me your catalog? Would you all first class and business passengers now start boarding? Then exclamation marks. Use an exclamation mark to indicate strong feelings or a raised voice in speech. She shouted at him, "Go away. Hate you." "Good heavens," he said. "Is that true?" Many interjections need an exclamation mark. "Oh, when are you going?" A non-question sentence beginning with what or how is often an exclamation and requires an exclamation mark. What idiots we are. In very informal writing, personal letter or email, people sometimes use 2 or more exclamation marks together. I'll never understand this language. 4 exclamation marks. It's informal. Next punctuation mark is slash. A slash is another name of slash is in colloquial English oblique. A slash is often used to indicate or. Please press your browser's refresh / reload button or reload button. Refresh or reload. Use a slash for fractions. 2 by 3 or 2/3. The students use a slash to indicate par in measurement of speech, prices, etc. The speed limit is 100 km/h. Here, in place of par, slash is used. A slash is often used in dates to separate day, month, and year. On credit card, expires and 10/15 October 2000. 10/15 means October 2015. Here 10 stands for October, 15 2015. The slash is used to separate parts of a website address on the internet and to separate folders on some computer systems. http://visualarts.britiscouncil.org/whats-on/exhibition/ backslash. What is backslash? The backslash is not really an English punctuation mark. It is a typographical mark used mainly in computing or typing. It is called backslash because it is the reverse of the slash or forward slash. The backslash is used in several computer systems and in many programming languages. C:\\, users, win, files, jsc.doc. Although it is not really an English punctuation mark, the backslash is included for completeness. Speech marks or quotation marks. Speech marks or quotation marks, quotes, quote marks, inverted commas, talking marks, are used to mark the words in direct speech. "Hello," said the cat, to show that a word is being used ironically or oddly. There were many single quotation marks. There were many experts in the audience. In the sentence, the word expert is confined within single quotation mark. Here, hello within double quotation mark. To indicate the title of the book, film, etc. The book Black Beauty was also made into a film. To show a quotation, Wordsworth wrote about an inward eye. To show when you are talking about a word or phrase. The word exit is the Latin for he goes out. Double or single speech marks or quotation marks. What is the difference between single and double inverted commas or quotation marks? If we use single quotation marks, then we should use double quotation marks for a quote within a quote. If we use double quotation marks, then we should use single quotation marks for a quotation within a quote. For example, when I say immediately, I mean sometime before August, said the manager. From when to August, total speech within double quotation marks. And within this double quotation marks, another word immediately is within single quotation mark. That is, if we use single quotation marks, then we should use double quotation marks for a quote within a quote. If we use double quotation marks, then we should use single quotation marks for a quote within a quote. In British English, single quotation marks are used to mark direct speech. with speech within speech marked with double quotation marks or set of specific words. The students will also use quotation marks around the title or name of a book, film, ship, etc. Titanic is a 1997 movie directed by James Cameron about the sinking of the ship Titanic. We use quotation marks around a piece of text that we are quoting or citing, usually from another source. In the Cambridge Encyclopedia of the English Language, David Crystal argues that punctuation plays a critical role in the modern writing system. Here, plays a critical role in the modern writing system. This clause is within double quotation mark. We use quotation marks around dialogue or direct speech. It was a moonlit night. James opened the door and stepped onto the balcony, followed by Mary. They stood in silence for a few moments, looking at the moon. Then Mary turned to him and said, "Do you love me, James?" Here, from door to James, door, before door double quotation mark, at the end double quotation mark. Double quotation mark begins with do and ends after James. My dear students, we use quotation marks around a word or phrase that we see as slang or jargon. The police were called a disturbance, which in reality was a pretty big fight. And then apostrophe. The apostrophe in left hand indicated omission, right hand possession. The apostrophe in shortened forms words, the apostrophe shows where letters have been missed out. Cannot, can't, it is, it's, should have, I will, I'll, you are, your, does not, doesn't. In respect of possession shows ownership. The girl's coat, that is the coat belongs to the girl. Children's home, that is the home belongs to the children. If the owner noun is a plural ending in s, just add only apostrophe. It is girl's coat, princess hats. My dear students, we also use an apostrophe in possessive forms. My friend's mother. And apostrophe, dear learners, we also use an apostrophe in contracted form. The apostrophe, these two examples are shown earlier. Use an apostrophe to show the plural of letters and numbers. You should not. You should dot your I's and cross your T's. You should dot your I's and cross your T's. Do you like music from the 1990s? Here apostrophe as, this apostrophe as and this apostrophe as show the plural of letters. Use an apostrophe to show a plural form for words that are not normally plural. Your plan is good, even if there are lots of buts. in it. Generally, there is no plural form of but here but apostrophe s express plural of buts. My dear learners, an apostrophe has two main uses. One is ownership, from the above discussion we have found. Another is contraction, and third one is also showing plural. Underline. Now let us see what is about the underline. In typewriting, we can use underline to show emphasis and also things like titles of books and films and names of ships. Have you read War and Peace? In handwriting, we traditionally use underlining to indicate emphasis. In addition, with the development of the internet and World Wide Web, web pages traditionally use underlining to indicate a link. Then another punctuation mark, underscore. Underscore is a line below text level and is typically used in email addresses, file names and URLs. For example, my underscore name @example.com, image underscore 123.jpg. In American English, underscore can also mean underline. Then round brackets. It's also one round brackets. It is also one type of punctuation marks. Round brackets are basically used to add extra information into a sentence, explain or clarify. Tony Blair, the British Prime Minister, resigned from office in 2007. Here within round bracket, in mathematics it is also called fast bracket. Important information is given. The former British Prime Minister, that is who the information about Tony Blair, who is Tony Blair. Round brackets are also used to indicate plural or singular. Please leave your mobile phones or phone at the door. Add a personal comment. Many people love parties. Within bracket, I don't. It's my comment. Define abbreviations. The matter will be decided by the IOC. Within round brackets, International Olympic Committee. Then another punctuation, square brackets. We use square brackets when we want to modify another person's words. We want to make it clear that the modification has been made by us, not by the original writer. To add clarification, the witness said, he, within square bracket, the policeman, he stands for the policeman. He hit me. That is, the policeman hit me. To add missing words, it is good question. Within the square bracket A. To add editorial or authorial comment, they will not be present. Within square bracket, my emphasis. To modify a direct quotation, he loves driving. Here modification is used. Originally it was written love, and after modification, correct, he loves driving. The original words were I love driving. My dear learners, next punctuation mark is ellipsis, and ellipsis is 3 dots. Ellipsis is used to show that a sentence is unfinished. For example, to show that a sentence is, the hyphen differs from the dash in that 3 dots, that is ellipsis, it is half as long. The ellipsis marks consists of 3 dots or periods. We use the ellipsis mark in place of missing words. If we intentionally omit one or more words from an original text, we replace them with an ellipsis mark. The film focused on 3 English learners, 3 dots, that is ellipsis, studying at university. Use an ellipsis mark to indicate a pause when someone is speaking or an unfinished sentence. She turned to James and said, "Darling, there is something, ellipsis. I need to tell you, I have never felt like, ellipsis, like this before. It's not easy to explain. It's not, ellipsis." Her voice trailed away as emotion welled up within her. My dear learners and beloved students, other devices for helping make written language easy to read and understand: the use of space, for example, paragraphing, organizational devices, for example, bullet points, presentational devices, for example, italic print, bold print, underlining, enlarged print, capital letters, asterisks, and so on. Dear students, here is the end of the virtual and video lecture. You are advised to check your punctuation, in which options you are right and in which options you are in wrong situation. Try again and again to be perfect, correct and accurate in using punctuation marks in English, because without correct punctuation your writings will not be effective, up to date, acceptable, reasonable, because of wrong uses of punctuation marks, your actual thinking or expression will be in wrong way, and you will not be able to achieve good marks both in writing and speaking. In writing it is very important. Speaking also, speaking express duration, and in writing the natural phenomena is given in a very clear manner. So dear students, along with these online video lectures, you are advised to go through different types of books of good or expert, efficient British and American writers. Find different types of articles on punctuation marks on Google's. Inshallah, then you will be perfect in using punctuation marks. Thank you very much. May Allah bless us all.